Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Ken Bone Zone for episode number 32, yet another milestone episode. Alongside me, of course, is my great friend Josh Burkett. How you doing this week, buddy?
Excellent. How are you, sir?
That I am doing real well, and that is exactly what I want to hear, that you are doing excellent. You certainly are looking excellent. No amazing stories to go on the top of the show like last week, and I didn't accidentally reveal my genitals to anyone. So you'll have to go back and re-listen to episode 31 if you want to hear stories about my balls. Sorry,
Thank
folks.
God it was an audio-only podcast last week.
Oh, yeah, 'cause there was going to be visual aids and stuff. YouTube wouldn't have let us put it up. It would have got demonetized, except, wait, they already did that. So I guess they would have just deleted it.
Oh, no. What about the $5 we had?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've... little inside baseball for the folks who have never done any YouTubing. To get paid by YouTube, you need to get your total revenue over $100, and they'll send it to you like after you break that barrier. And we're sitting at about $88, and then we got demonetized. So I'm not holding my breath on getting our $100. We were moving along at such a good clip too, like $2 an episode.
Close.
We were making like $2 an episode, which between the two of us is about 30 cents an hour, which is more than you get to sew Nike swooshes onto tennis shoes, I guess. So there's nothing to sneeze at.
I guess that's fair.
What are you gonna do?
I figure they would just send like a, $15 Amazon gift card or something to say, "Hey, we demonetized you. Sorry. Here's some."
I'd take it. What I really want is one of those diamond play buttons that you get for getting 10 million subscribers. And to get that, we only need 9,989,000 more. So tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
We'll get there. I'm not complaining about having 11,000 subs, folks. Just having a little fun. We don't do this for the money.
If we did, we'd be whoring ourselves out a lot. In much more worse ways than we are now.
For sure. I mean, it's anybody who wants to pay me some money. Halliburton? Oh, yeah. Blackwater Security? For all your private security needs, go to Blackwater Security. They're only 10% as evil as you heard. Now with 60% less collateral damage.
You know what, though? On like a serious note, I'm still amazed sometimes at how the controversial and reactionary podcasts and YouTube and what have you still get so much attraction. You would think at some point in like our culture, we would like kind of go middle of the ground and go, hey, let's listen to people that kind of see both sides and have a little bit more well thought and can, see a broader perspective instead of being just reactionary. But no, not yet.
Let's not go crazy.
Maybe we'll get there.
To do that, we would have to post the podcast like the same day as the story before people forget about it, instead of waiting 4 or 5 days and actually thinking about it first and putting it out. That's not a formula for success. Also, people don't get tired of outrage. Like, I've read a lot of articles with data in them about how you release the same chemical in your brain when you get angry as you do when, like, you overcome an obstacle or something. And, like, basically you get this oxytocin in your brain and it addicts you. And so people are actually physically addicted to being pissed off all the time.
That's really sad.
You get withdrawal if you're off of Twitter for too long and you don't see somebody, like, use a word that is not acceptable in today's America. I just hate them so much. I hate those bakers in Oregon who wouldn't let the woman come in after closing time. They're such racists. They are gay, vegan racists.
Hey, vegan. I'm so triggered right now. Oh, God. I'm triggered.
That was not me trying to disparage them, folks. They actually are a gay, vegan couple, okay? I wasn't saying, like, oh, they're gay vegans. Like, that's a bad thing. It's a gay, vegan couple who own a bakery in Oregon. And there was a black woman came in 6 minutes after closing time, and the two employees who were in the store said, sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you. She went outside and started making a Facebook video about how those two ladies that turned her away were racist. And then the next day, or a couple days later, those two workers that wouldn't serve a customer after closing time got fired for not serving a customer after closing time because they were unintentionally racist. Their gay vegan bosses fired them. And
so the ones that weren't serving, they weren't the gay vegans.
No,
it was their employees.
The owners are gay vegans. The employees that night,
okay.
I don't know if the employees that night were gay or if they were vegans. That could not be confirmed at press time.
those straight hateful meat eaters.
Yeah, I mean, they worked at a vegan bakery. I don't know. I mean, hopefully they land on their feet, because I know that being a cashier at a vegan bakery is extremely lucrative. It'll be hard to find work like that again.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeesh. There's room on the Ken Bone Show. Ladies, you want to come on the show? I know you're listening. All of America is listening. You can come on the show and talk about your experience.
We can offer you 30 cents
That's
on the
absolutely
dollar.
Right.
Or no, 30 cents an hour. That's what I meant to say. 30 cents an hour.
30 cents an hour. We can actually only give you 27 cents an hour, because that would be 74% of what we, the men, make for equivalent work.
Oh, sexism.
Zing! That's the glass ceiling. We can't let you above that.
Yeah. We have standards to hold. Good job doing the math on that really quick.
No, I fooled you. I have no idea if that was even close. I had no clue.
Grab my calculator.
I don't know. Oh, man, it's like that story. We didn't even intend to talk about that story, and it's so stupid that it's, I guess, got us geared up for the rest of the news that we really are going to talk about.
No, let's do it.
Because the news is stupid. All right, so let's see. First story we've got here. The Supreme Court has ruled on the gay wedding cake case from a couple years back. I remember there was the baker who he made and decorated wedding cakes, and a gay couple came in and said we want you to make our wedding cake, and he said, no, I'm a very religious guy, and the decorating the cakes is part of my art, and that's my artistic expression. And if I made a wedding cake for you, or decorated a wedding cake for you, that would be me lending my artistic voice to it, which would mean I was supporting it. And because of my religious convictions, I don't support gay marriage. And this case went all the way to the Supreme Court. I guess they were trying to make them a wedding cake. It basically destroyed this dude's life, you know. And then the Supreme Court ruled, and everybody's holding their breath. They're like, oh my gosh, this is going to set an important precedent about whether LGBT rights people can refuse service based on their beliefs. And it set exactly zero precedent. The ruling was so narrow that it applies to this case and this case only from the Supreme Court. So the very next time one of these cases comes up, and it will, again, in a couple of weeks, there's a florist with a similar story, this case will provide almost no usable legal precedent. So we haven't really learned anything yet.
What did they rule specifically? Because I've stayed away from the news this week.
What the Supreme Court ruled, and they ruled 7-2, which is very unusual. The Supreme Court almost never actually agrees on stuff. It was 7 versus 2 of them agreed that the Colorado Equal Rights Commission did not take this baker's religious views into account properly. They discriminated against him on the basis of his religion while trying a case or investigating a case that could possibly have been discrimination against LGBT people. So they said that the trier of fact, or the Equal Rights Commission, did not do their job properly. So that was one. And then for 2, that decorating the cake does count as free speech because it's a form of artistic impression. So he did not have to make it for anyone. Now, they did not go so far as to say what people expected them to say, that you do have to make them a cake, but you don't have to decorate it. That was what he offered. He said, I'll make you a cake, and you can decorate it yourself, or you can take it to somebody else to be decorated, or you can go to one of my friends' bakeries, one of my competitors. And they said, no, we want you to make the cake because we heard you were the best, or I honestly don't know what their motivation was, but they wanted him to make the cake. And he didn't want to decorate the cake. He offered to bake them one, but not decorate it because I guess that wouldn't be part of his artistic purview or something. But they ruled that he didn't have to decorate the cake.
Okay.
Yeah. So good for him after 4 years or whatever it was, and I'm sure hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, just so that he could confirm that, no, in fact, I do not have to bake a cake for people if I don't want to.
Okay. Well, I like your bulletin on it. It says Supreme Court rules on gay wedding cake case, and I was like, I too believe that if a wedding cake wants to be gay, it should have the right to be gay.
Absolutely. Like if the wedding cake feels that it is attracted to other wedding cakes of the same flavor, it should be allowed to. I don't see why two lemon cakes cannot love each other in today's society.
I mean, it's a little fruit, but
what a bunch of fruit cakes.
Sorry,
I get it. Oi.
Terrible.
Anyway, that's enough about cake. It's making me hungry.
Yeah, let's bounce back from that one.
I could eat me a gay cake right now, just all by myself.
Oh man, I would so eat a gay cake.
I would shove an entire gay cake in my mouth until there was frosting everywhere.
Oh, this could get bad,
folks.
I'm not gonna one up you on that one.
You heard it. You can't unhear it. You can delete. You can unsubscribe, but you can't unhear that joke. It was made. Oh boy. Let's see. Oh, let's get the Trump stuff out of the way, because, oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to an episode where Donald Trump just keeps his damn mouth shut and we don't have to talk about him one single time. But that is not today. It is not this day. Today, we must talk about Donald Trump again. So Donald Trump's been president for a little over 500 days now, and I think the defining characteristic of his presidency is that he just can't shut the hell up. And in fairness, I think that's been the defining characteristic of Donald Trump's life to this point, is that even when he's successful, he just can't friggin' shut up. I especially liked his Memorial Day tweet, where, as someone more clever than I put it, he really put the me in Memorial Day. He just made it all about him and his accomplishments, and yeah, there were some dead army people too. So that was stupid. Even when he does something good, something that I agree with, still has to say something stupid, or one of his representatives does. His latest representative saying something stupid was Rudy Giuliani. He wins the Trump sweepstakes this week. Giuliani said that the North Korean leadership is crawling on their hands and knees to get Trump to do this summit with the North Koreans. What a monumentally dumb thing to say. To put down and disparage the people that you're trying to bring to the negotiation table right after we just got these talks back on track. Rudy, you're an idiot.
Yeah, you know better.
America's mayor should have stayed in local politics, apparently. Good Lord.
Yeah, anybody with half a brain knows, okay, if somebody's crawling on their hands and knees begging for somebody else, what does that make Trump look like? Are you implying, are you setting him up as somebody more than a president, like a savior that can save these people? Like, come on.
Well, I think he's just trying to say that in this relationship, Trump is the dom and Kim is the sub.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody has to come and worship at the feet of Trump. Just so bizarre. They can't stay out of their own way, and the Trump administration seems to be ruining one of their biggest potential successes before it even starts. So stop it, Rudy. Stop it.
Stop it.
Bad Rudy. Bad. Hit Rudy
Freaking
with
Julia.
a rolled up New York Post. Since that's all that's fit to do with the New York Post is to either let dogs pee on it or to smack Rudy Giuliani in the nose.
Yeah, Bob. Bad boy.
Line the bottoms of bird cages. Yeah, so shame on Rudy. Let's see, in other Trump news, he disinvited the Philadelphia Eagles from the White House. So the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, and so they were, like all the winning sports teams, they were going to go to the White House, until about 2/3 or a little over that of the Eagles said, well, I don't want to go to the White House because Trump sucks. Because remember, all the cool kids hate Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump. I'm going to make my political statement and try to change the political face of this country by not engaging in it, which I think is a dumb decision. But hey, it's your right to stay home. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. If you don't want to give Trump a photo op, you don't have to. And it's not like he was going to sit down and have policy discussions with him. So, do what you want to do with that. But then Trump, of course, has to up him.
Oh yes, yeah. So well, how do I want you to go anyway? Is it assumed now? I mean, if because famous people or somebody that or a team that gets successful, like they win the Super Bowl, they get invited to the White House. Is it automatically considered that you are pro that president if you go? I always kind of assumed it was just hey, even if you didn't vote for the guy, you don't like the guy, the White House calls you. It's kind of cool. It's kind of an honor. You go. No one's gonna think ill of you if you go. But yeah, I could be wrong.
I mean, the goalie for the Boston Bruins a few years back refused to go because he didn't like Obama, and he wouldn't go. And everybody's like, what the hell is the matter with you, you stupid jerk? You respect the office, and you go and visit the president. And, he just got lambasted. But now it's like, oh, well, this is Trump, though. It's not Obama, so it's okay not to go. I'm not saying you have to go. Don't go if you don't want. If I got invited to the White House, even though I don't like Donald Trump very much, I'd go.
Right.
I'd go just so I have the picture, and maybe I could talk to him for 2 seconds and be like, oh, your border wall's a dumb idea. Thanks for having me by.
Yeah.
They could each line up and say something mean to him if they wanted to. They'd all, moon him if they wanted. What the hell is the Secret Service going to do? They can't kill you for that. Not when you're the Philadelphia Eagles.
I figure they just, a taser in the butt.
Yeah. I mean, they're NFL players. They're tough. They can take it.
Yeah.
Everybody gather around the quarterback so he doesn't get tased so much. But yeah, most of them said they didn't want to go, so Trump had to one-up them and said, well, fine, I didn't want you to come anyway. You're all disinvited. You can't come. And all the fans and reporters and stuff that were going to come, we'll just have a big party and sing the national anthem 17 times in a row with the Marine Corps band. It was this so freaking petty and dumb and weird. I mean, it was quintessential Donald Trump. You're like, I didn't want you to come anyway. You guys suck. And then he had to bring in the whole kneeling controversy because he can't talk enough about that. 'Cause he thinks it's a political win for him to talk about the damn NFL kneeling controversy. So he brings that up. But, not one single member of the Eagles kneeled during the national anthem a single time all season. None of them were participants in that. And when somebody pointed that out to the president, I'm sure he said something like, well, everyone in the NFL is the same. Because, he's stupid like that. The NFL doesn't honor the spirit of America. I am the spirit of America, and you must come and pay homage.
I wonder, though, there's like a 5% chance, I'm thinking, that it's all a ruse. He's like super insecure. Like he disinvited him, probably on Twitter. Then went to go cry in Melania's lap and was like, I learned some of their names. He was like really upset, like a kid who just nobody came to his birthday party and he just like wounded at the core.
Yeah,
maybe
he's just like a giant fan of Nick Foles, or I honestly don't know any of the other players' names.
Or any of the other Eagles.
Yeah. Or one of the only other Eagles player's name I knew was John Dorenbos, and he's retired. He was their long snapper, and I only knew him because he was also a semi-professional magician who appeared on America's Got Talent. But yeah, I just really wanted to meet Nick Foles, and he wouldn't come, and now I'm sad. I don't know. Or maybe he really liked the Patriots, and he's like, stupid Eagles beat my favorite team.
Part of me is thinking that he didn't even know. Maybe he thought like the Eagles, like, I really wanted to hear Hotel California, but if they don't want to come, fine, I'm going to disinvite them.
Don Henley is a dickhead.
Don't put that on Twitter, sir. Please don't put that on Twitter.
I can't believe Glenn Fry wouldn't come to my meeting at the White House. Sir, I think Glenn Fry is dead. Well, that's no excuse.
That's no excuse. I'm still amazed at your esoteric knowledge of, I know the Eagles. I don't know any of the band members. Well done.
Oh, now you do. Don Henley was the drummer. He's
Yes, Henley, yeah.
one of the pioneering singer drummers. That's how I learned him in the first place. He was the vocalist on a lot of the great hit Eagles tunes, and he was also playing the drums. And if any of you listeners are musicians like Josh and I are, you know that like playing the piano and singing is pretty intuitive, and playing the guitar and singing is pretty intuitive. And it's not easy. You got to learn to do it. You got to practice, but it just is easier. Playing a rhythm instrument like the bass or the drums and singing is much, much more difficult. So, hats off to Don Henley for doing it at such an exceptionally high level. And Geddy Lee, while we're at it, he's not in the Eagles, he's in Rush, but he's an amazing bass player and sings all their songs. Anyway, see how I delay between topics because I don't want to talk about the next dumb news story. I'd rather talk about Rush and the Eagles. That's how you can tell this is a St. Louis-based show because I love Rush. I also like Sammy Hagar. Rush and Sammy Hagar could just alternate playing concerts here in St. Louis and just sell out every night. In a rainstorm or a blizzard, they would sell out. St. Louis loves them. We love some Canadians and Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
Let's see. Some other Trump stuff. There's still a big stink going on about Trump separating kids from their parents at the border. Kids of immigrants. That's happening. I don't want to take anything away from that because that's suffering when you come across the border and your kids get taken away from you. But
right.
The coverage of this is so disingenuous. It's really sad. It's if you come across the border illegally and you get detained, they don't send your kids to jail with you. They take your kids and they place them in care so that your kids don't have to be in prison while you're in prison or in detainment. It's not like you come across the border with a visa and they're just like, hey, dirty Mexican, I'm taking your child away and throwing it in the hoosegow. Snidely Whiplash is an ICE agent now, and he just takes your child and ties it to a railroad track. And it doesn't work like that.
Right.
It's a little more complicated than that. And this is not a Trump policy. It wasn't his idea. It's the rule. And the rule has been in place since before Trump. It's been in place since the Obama days. In fact, a lot of the pictures you have seen of these kids were taken while Obama was still president. The one that I saw on Headline News, that picture that was circulating, it was taken when Obama was president. And this rule, or this law, was ruled on by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. You know, the super liberal one. The most liberal federal court of appeals there is. Interpreted this rule and said, yeah, you can't keep kids in detainment for more than 20 days. So if the parents are in lockup for more than 20 days, and there's a huge, huge backlog at the border of these cases, because a lot of people are coming across the border, and Trump's trying to arrest them all. So there's this big backlog, and the parents are in jail for more than 20 days, and then the court's saying, like, look, it's against the law. You can't have kids in jail. You gotta take them and put them in a foster care. You gotta split them up. And that sucks. It's terrible. But It's the law. So there's 3 ways you can get around this. 3 ways you can make it not happen anymore. And call or email your congressperson if you want one of these to happen. 1, change the immigration laws so that this is not the law anymore. I mean, I know it's not simple, but that would be probably the best way to do this. 2 would be stop illegal immigration altogether. Not going to happen. Wall's not going to stop it. Nothing's going to stop it. Only enforcement can actually stop it, and you got to be humane when you do enforcement. These aren't terrorists. These are people fleeing bad conditions. And 3 would be stop enforcing the law. Well, Donald Trump's not going to stop enforcing the damn immigration law. That is like what he got elected on, and that's like his thing. He's doing what he can do to stop illegal immigration because he feels very strongly about it. He's not going to stop. And if you want this to be less inhumane, you got to change the law. I don't really see any way around that.
Yeah, so, it's really the only option.
So when Trump gets on Twitter and says it's the Democrats' fault, well, that's not really entirely truthful because the Democrats are still the minority in the House and Senate. But House Republicans need to get on it and actually do something about this, and House Democrats need to stop crying and bitching about it and push for reform instead. And that's not just a slam on Democrats. When Republicans were the minority, and if Republicans become the minority again in this upcoming election, they will go instantaneously back into minority party mode. And minority party mode is do nothing, cry, and bitch about what the other guys do.
Right.
That's been the default of American politics since you and I have been alive.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and it makes me think of when the 8 years we had Obama. And Sean Hannity would be like, "We are the conservative in exile, the conservative underground, and conservatism is in exile." And oh god, just stop.
Hannity's so bad. I was reading a story the other day. I think it was Vox or some other relatively liberal outlet had said like, "Oh, conservatism's not working for TV because Hannity and Laura Ingraham can't get advertisers, and Sean Hannity can't get advertisers." And I'm thinking like, well, you really drew the wrong conclusion from that. There is definitely an audience for conservative television because, there's like 65 million people voted for Donald Trump. It's a lot of friggin' viewers. Fox is the #1 rated news channel. It's got the biggest ratings of the cable news channels. If Hannity and Ingram are having trouble getting advertisers, there's two reasons for that. One is because they're controversy magnets that can't quit stepping in it, and two, it's because their shows suck.
Right.
You can only sell so much Metamucil to the people watching Fox News if your show sucks big dong. Okay. Even if you're a Trump guy, you got to get tired of watching Hannity just polish Trump's knob every night. You got to have a little something. Right. Shep Smith does not have trouble getting advertisers because he at least knows, like, maybe I should talk about something different every damn day instead of the same thing.
I was like on his radio show too. It was the same thing over and over and over again, and then he'd tell you to buy gold.
Oh yeah.
And eventually, it's like, okay, I get it. You want me to buy gold, but I'm not.
I feel so bad for people. Like it must be selling. Like the advertising must be driving sales, or else the advertising would get pulled. So somebody's going to birchgold.com and buying just an ass load of gold, while gold is still near like a relatively all-time high price. That would be like, rice was on sale at the grocery store a year ago. That must mean nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted rice last week at the grocery store, so nobody wants it. It means rice sucks. I'm going to wait until rice is $13 a pound and then buy it, because that means rice is good. I'm going to bury a shitload of it in my backyard. That's what people are doing with gold. And Birch Gold's just like, ooh. If Birch Gold or any of these other gold places, if they're actually sitting on a bunch of gold, and they're not, they're commodity brokers. They buy it from someone else and then sell it to you at an inflated price. But if they actually had like a dragon hoard of gold and they actually thought it was a good investment, they wouldn't be selling it to you, dumbass. They'd be keeping it. If they thought the price was going to go up, they wouldn't sell it.
Yeah. We sell gold at the lowest price and we buy gold at the highest price. No, you don't.
Yeah, what a great business model. That's amazing. This episode brought to you by Birch Gold.
By Birch Gold.
That's really like we're really alienating a sponsor that sponsors a lot of podcasts. So, whoops.
Yeah, I'm willing to eat our words. If we got a call tomorrow and they said, "Hey, we want to sponsor you guys," all right, we love Birch Gold.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Birch Gold sells the best tasting gold on the market. I would much rather have Birch Gold. It's way better than with the fucking pawn shop down the street. I don't know where else you can get gold.
Yeah. better days, gold, and pawn shop and liquor.
We will buy your gold teeth. All right.
We buy your gold teeth.
Give me a shot of whiskey first.
This might be a new game where we can somehow just incorporate, fake advertisements for Birch Gold. Maybe we should call it Butch Gold or something, because we don't want to give them actual. But oh man,
yeah.
Oh, Trump and this fake news reminds me that you should buy Butch Gold.
Yeah, just don't buy commodities when they're at peak price, folks. If you want to invest in something physical, long-term storage food, although those kind of companies do advertise on a lot of podcasts, just enough for a week or two, just in case there's a hurricane or a tornado or something, or bullets, the ultimate commodity. The conversion rate on bullets is extremely good. Like the exchange rates of bullets for your neighbor's shit is incredibly high in times of crisis.
Bullets,
don't shoot your neighbors, folks.
Incandescent light bulbs.
Yeah,
and long term for the Zompoc. That's going to be the next wave.
Zombie apocalypse. I invested in food. I invested in tools. I invested in shelter. I invested in bullets. Now the exchange rate for food, shelter, and tools is incredibly damn high. I got them all.
This episode is brought to you by Butch, Bullets, and Long-Term Food Solutions.
Brought to you by The Walking Dead, where automatic weapons are incredibly easy to come by some damn how, and they got 30,000 bullets to shoot out of them.
Right.
Can you tell I don't want to talk about Donald Trump anymore?
You
Donald Trump did he did one more thing this week. He commuted the sentence of Alice Marie Johnson, who was convicted of a nonviolent drug trafficking crime and sentenced to life in prison. I can't find a lot of data on her case, because whenever I Google Alice Marie Johnson, all I get is a whole bunch of like activist websites saying how she should be released. I guess. And anyway, Kim Kardashian went to the White House and said that, hey, you should release this woman from prison. She's a great grandmother now, and she does, like online webinars and all this good stuff for the community, and she never hurt anybody, and she's been in jail for like 25 years, so you should let her out. And so Trump said, okay. He commuted her sentence and let her out. And she didn't hurt anybody, so I guess I'm not against it. It's not like he let out a serial murderer or something. What I'm hoping from this is that sentencing reform is on the way, because sentencing in this country is really, really insane. Like there are plenty of cases of like raping a kid and getting a year with 6 extra months of probation, or like getting drunk and running over a family and getting a suspended sentence, but then getting caught with like an ounce of weed and going to jail for a decade. So it's really messed up, and it's a lot of it was racially targeted when the laws were written, and that shows in the stats. Like, hey, let's look at what crimes, and the argument deal here is like, well, if black people didn't want to go to jail, they shouldn't do the crimes. Well, and that's absolutely true. If you don't want to go to jail at all, you don't do a crime at all. That's the ultimate solution. But when they wrote a lot of these minimum sentence laws or sentencing guidelines, so they'd look and they'd be like, all right, what crimes do white people typically do? Okay, we're going to make the minimum sentence on that 6 months. Now, what crimes do black people typically do? Okay, we're going to make the minimum sentence on that 4 years. Right. And they kind of hid the racial motivation under that, and then used the whole war on drugs thing to push it. And neither side is innocent in this. This is not a Republican versus Democrat thing. This has been what we've done since the war on drugs was instituted. It started with Reagan. Clinton was every bit as bad at sentencing people, especially black people. The most man years of sentencing for African Americans in the history of this country, when broken up by administration, came under Clinton. So that was an interesting statistic. I heard that one just earlier today. I was like, wow, I didn't believe it. I had to look it up for myself. That's crazy. There was a lot of drug enforcement was being heavily pushed at that time, and Trump could surpass that. It's not like he should be trying to break that record, but I think he is on pace to if he continues. But overall, it's a very bad thing. Is what I'm getting at. Is that we need sentencing reform. We need sentences to be more fair, and ultimately, it would be great if the criminal justice system, instead of being pure punishment, would have some rehabilitation aspect to it. We've really gotten away from the rehabilitation model, and that's why the recidivism rate is so high. Like, you get out of jail, you don't know how to do anything. You're under very strict guidelines of where you can go and who you can associate with. You don't have anybody that'll take you in. Well, you end up back in jail in a month because you don't have the tools to do anything else. So we should probably be investing a little resources. Like if you invest a couple $1 million in, or even a couple of billion, in teaching people during the last 6 months of their sentence, like, okay, this is how you do not come back to jail. Do this and this and this and this and this and this, and you won't end up coming back to jail. and we'll help you do some of that stuff. We'll pump some money into the halfway house type programs. Then you don't have to pay the expense of putting those people back in friggin' jail, which costs so much money. That costs an incredible amount of money. So you could stop them from doing more crimes, which is great. It's awesome for society. And you could also save me a bunch of tax money, which is great and awesome for me. So it's like a win-win-win.
Oh, yeah. Well, even studies have shown that like restorative justice, even while they're doing their sentence, so them learning not just skills, but even like trying to recompense for the things they've done, or which this doesn't work all the time, but victim, perpetrator reconciliation, or there's nonprofits that will, bus, inmates' kids to see them, and those alone, that things that just remind people that they have humanity and something that they can still contribute to society, greatly reduces recidivism. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
like, we should be working to like, hey, let's make them right their wrongs in some way. It can't be perfect, but maybe that would help the situation.
There's no good reason not to do programs like that, because they're proven to lower recidivism and lessen crime, improve life for not just the inmates, but for their communities and for their families, save the government money by not imprisoning so many people. So it saves money, it saves lives, it makes lives better. And we're not talking about turning murderers back out on the street. We're not saying, Jeffrey Dahmer, we really hope you've eaten your last bicep and we're just going to turn you loose. No, those people stay in jail forever. That's the murderers and rapists and stuff. They stay in jail forever. That's a totally different thing. We're talking about like ignorant kids who knock over liquor stores when they're 17 because they're stupid. Teaching them better. Right. Or people who get caught with some drugs because they like drugs, that kind of stuff. Nonviolent offenders especially. But anyway, the only reason that you don't see more of that is because one of the easiest ways to get elected is to be, quote, tough on crime.
Right.
You don't get elected by going out there and saying like, hey, maybe we should help these people not be criminals anymore. You get elected by saying, F all these criminals. They suck. You guys are all good people because you don't do crimes, or at least you don't get caught. Wink. Now screw all those people. And we'll put them away someplace, and you don't have to think about them. You just have to pay a shitload of money. So once again, politics is what is making society worse in yet another instance. Oh, last Trump story. Last one. Hold my breath. This is one where I actually have to step in and defend Trump. And that's the reason why I hate this story. I don't like defending Trump. He is a billionaire who has sexually assaulted women and who also seems to generally be kind of a dick. So don't make me stand up for him by doing this kind of stuff. I try my best to be fair, and being fair sometimes means defending people when they didn't actually do anything wrong. Please stop making me do that for Donald Trump. Okay, so here it is. It's a viral video that you've probably seen in GIF format or in video format, and it's Donald Trump. He takes a water bottle from a conference table, and he sets it on the floor, and then Mike Pence immediately takes a water bottle from in front of him and sets it on the floor. And then Trump takes a napkin from the conference table and sets it in his lap out of the way. And people are like, oh my God, Pence is just like a meat puppet. He's a robot. His Cheeto Bandito dictator took his water bottle down, and Pence the beta male had to follow suit. Well, notice he didn't put it in his lap, because then he'd be putting his hand too close to a penis. And we all know God hates penises, according to Mike Pence. That's why they put it on the floor, because they're afraid that they'll inappropriately touch women or suck each other off if they put their hands too close to their wieners. These are the two worst human beings in the history of ever. Oh my God, I hate them so much. Hashtag Pence Nazi. And you look at this video and you're like, huh.
Oh, man.
Let me think for 2 seconds. What's actually happening here? Oh, wait. I've had my picture professionally taken before. And not just because of the Ken Bone thing. I mean, like, I've had my picture taken for high school yearbooks and at weddings and stuff like that. So what is actually happening here is there is a photographer off screen saying, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, could you please move your water bottles so that I can get a good picture of the two of you at this conference? And they're both like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And they move him. That's it. That's all. That's it. And this has gotten like 116,000 likes, and it's on fucking CNN. Where people saying like, "Oh my god, it's such bizarre behavior. This is the weirdest thing you're gonna say today." Pence being subservient to Trump by moving his water bottle subconsciously. Oh my God, this is why fake news is a stupid narrative that Trump gets to talk about all the time. Now, because you fed the fake news bullshit with this, the dumbest story of the week, now Trump gets to go on and say, you are fake news, very fake news. And in this one very small instance, he's right. He gets to be right 1% of the time, and that's enough for him to fucking do it forever. So quit. Oh my God.
That was like the best monologue I think I've heard, easily in the top 10 of
man.
Kinbone monologue. That was brilliant.
I'm out
brilliant
of breath.
rant.
I didn't expect to get
That's
that
good.
angry.
Man, you're triggered. Are you feeling okay? You
yeah.
feeling a little flushed there, buddy? Like, oh, I'm triggered now.
Hashtag snowflake.
Hashtag stuff like.
Ken Bone's triggered.
What I want to know is who are the people that catch these moments and then say to themselves, you know, I'm probably going to go to hell for this, but I could probably sell it to Gawker for like $200, and they will spin it into a merry tune. And all right, is Gawker even a thing anymore? I don't. Anyway,
Well, Gawker got killed by Hulk Hogan.
That's right.
Because they released his sex tape, and it split and turned into other bottom feeders like Gizmodo,
yeah.
who can eat a big bag of wet chodes, by the way. Gizmodo, if any of your representatives are watching. But that's it for the Trump for the week. Thank the good Lord.
Whew.
Okay, now on to...
Speaking of things that Trump owns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He owns something like this. The Miss America pageant. The Miss America pageant announced this week, no more swimsuit competition, and no more... Yeah, and so we're just going to base this competition entirely on the women's personalities, and it's not going to be about looks anymore. Like, okay, that sounds great in theory, but well, why do the girls even have to show up then? Couldn't they just write you a damn essay?
Yeah.
If you're going to continue to have Miss America, which is a beauty pageant, let it be a beauty pageant. I think beauty pageants are kind of dumb and shouldn't exist, but nobody put a gun to these girls' heads, and they get scholarships and stuff. Yeah. If they want to do it, let them do it. And I just find this so weird because it was only like, were we in high school or we'd already graduated maybe? So it was within the last 15 or 20 years that they started allowing bikinis.
Right.
Bikinis weren't allowed before, and they just started allowing them pretty recently, and now they're saying no swimsuit competition at all. It's going to all be talent and question and answer competition. Well, if I want to watch a talent competition, I'm going to watch one of the 80 damn reality shows that get auto-recorded on my Dish DVR. This episode not brought to you by Dish. I'm not going to watch any of them because I don't want to watch a damn talent show. And I definitely don't want to watch a talent show of people that are like beauty queens, because I don't want to take anything away from what they can do, but they're not going to be like the absolute top tier of amazing talent competitions. They're not going to be like the people that cigar box juggle 19 things while riding a unicycle on fire, you know, that kind of crap. They're going to be doing pageant talent stuff, which is generally, you know, it's cool, I guess. It's not like the top tier of TV. And I totally don't want to watch Miss Nebraska or whatever it was talk about maps such as the Iraq and determine a winner based on that shit.
Oh, that was great.
I already don't watch Miss America every year, and not that many people do. It doesn't get that great of ratings, so I can't watch it any less than I already do. I just thought this was really bizarre. It's like it's hopping on the hashtag Me Too wagon in a place where nobody was really asking for it.
You know, it's funny because, again, reading the bullet points, just the notes, seeing a bullet point that says no more swimsuits, my brain for a second, because I know, or at least Trump, I mean, he owned Miss America at one point, or
he owns Miss Universe.
Universe, okay. So I was thinking Trump, then I was thinking terrible low ratings, and I know that they did the bikinis like a decade ago, and so I was thinking, oh, well, are they trying to get more ratings and they're going to put Miss America on like cable where they can have nudity and no more swimsuits. They're going to take them off. And I was like, well, that's actually clever to try to get people. I mean, it's terrible,
Miss
but
Naked
it's a good way to
America.
get people to actually watch the stupid thing. And oh no, okay,
There was
yeah.
there
Either
was
way,
a
I'm
Miss
not watching.
America. We were in junior high. They had to step down because she did like some Playboy photos or something like that. You know, that could just be every contestant.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I mean,
Or not. You know, there's plenty of porn on the internet. You know, if you want to see naked women either become good at talking to other human beings, and you can see one in person, or go on the internet. I mean, but yeah, I could see them trying something like that. But they went the other way and said no swimsuits at all.
okay.
And I really
So-
don't get it because like when I would see clips of Miss America, it's not like they're wearing like super sexy stuff. Like really, the Miss America contestants during the swimsuit competitions, they didn't really seem like sexually appealing because they're wearing like
That's a good point.
they're wearing like 8-inch heels and caked on a bunch of makeup with their bikini, and that's kind of weird. You know, I don't,
Yeah, not. No, I completely agree. Like I don't really get the crazy smile with the teeth that they just keep smiling and not move, and the pound and a
yeah.
half of cream upon their face. That's a face. Yeah,
rub
I'm with you.
rub Vaseline on your teeth, or put
Yeah.
put the flippers in, which is like, you know, fake teeth. It's like a grill, only instead of being gold and diamonds, it's just fake teeth. So you have a better smile. It's weird. Pageants are weird.
yeah, they are.
There's something good could come of this though. If Miss America either continues and it's all about, you know, it's all about personality instead of looks, it's all about talent, and it's actually successful, that's great. Or if it dies and goes away after a few years, not very many people care. But the positive consequence of either of those things is no more toddlers in tiaras. Like maybe that'll start to wane because we're not going to make any more pageant princesses, because that is creepy as hell.
Yes, it is. Yep.
That disturbs me badly.
Yep, it's so wrong. Now, forgive my ignorance, and maybe you know, I don't know. Now, there's Miss Universe. So I'm assuming that the person who wins Miss America is eligible to go on to Miss Universe because they're represented. Does it work that way?
They probably have to sign an exclusivity contract with Miss America saying that they won't compete in Miss Universe or any of the other like regional championships that lead up to it. Or they could win Miss America. And I know that Miss America and Miss World are different things. Like Miss America doesn't necessarily go on to compete in Miss World because it's different like regionals and stuff that lead up to it. And the winner of Miss World does not graduate and then go on to compete against Miss Universe, you know, like you know, the women from Rigel 7 or whatever. Although that would be cool.
That would be hella cool.
I'd watch it. I'd start watching beauty pageants again.
Yep, that would be the only time that, yeah. Even if they didn't have swimsuits, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's see what the chicks on Rigel 7 look like. Yeah.
You know, Miss Universe to me is it's 3 different women, and they're all Zoe Saldana. They're all tied. There's Zoe Saldana as Uhura, Zoe Saldana in Avatar, and Zoe Saldana as Gamora in the Marvel movies. She's in a 3-way tie as herself as 3 different races of 3 different women. And she wins them all. Congratulations, Zoe Saldana. You are beautiful in black, blue, or green.
You have won forever.
Yes.
The Ken Bone Zone Miss
Universe.
Miss Multiverse.
Best looking alien woman, and very talented too. Let's see. Well, speaking of stuff in other galaxies, we have Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose Tico in the latest Star Wars film, or the latest main entry Star Wars film, The Last Jedi. She has deleted all the posts off her Instagram because the fans were so mean to her. And
What do they mean to her?
just for a second, I thought like, geez, snowflake. But then I thought, no, wait, she's probably totally right. These are Star Wars fans. And nerd fans can be freaking evil. And I looked at some of the stuff they were doing to her, and oh my gosh, like just because you got to learn to differentiate the character from the actress. Like Rose, Kelly Marie Tran did a fine job in the role, did as good as you could do playing Rose in that movie. But the thing is that the character of Rose is a dumb character that didn't need to exist. She was in the worst side plot of the movie, the part that everybody hated, because it was unnecessary and poorly executed. There's no reason to hate Kelly Marie Tran for that. That's dumb and ignorant. And to leave horrible flame comments on her Instagram, how dare you play a role that I didn't enjoy very much in a beloved franchise that I care about so much. Go to hell, man. What is the matter with you?
I figured she would get more shade from the women more. I mean, this might be stereotyping a bit, but the women that like Star Wars a lot, that want to see the Finn and Rey, just love blossom, and how dare Rose try to break that union apart and try to take Finn for herself. That selfish bitch.
Well, if Finn and Rey end up like as romantic partners by the end of the next movie, I'm not kidding. I will walk out. I will walk out.
I'm done.
Because that's stupid. They're supposed to be friends. They're good friends. Friends don't have to have sex with each other. Josh and I have been friends for 25 years. We only had sex we've never. We've never had.
Funny.
I'm sorry, Cindy, if you're listening. I promise.
Oh, my boy.
I promise that was a joke.
We've said worse. We've said worse on this show.
It was just like the people who watch Lord of the Rings and they're like, oh, Sam and Frodo were definitely gay lovers. No, they were friends. You can be friends and you can love people without putting your penis in them.
Right. And this is not an anti-gay statement, but how dare you, they had the greatest bromance of all time.
Yeah, certainly not an anti-gay thing.
Yeah.
Being gay, totally fine. But Sam and Frodo weren't gay. They were friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And
inexplicable.
And Sam, married that hottie at the end. The barmaid. What's her face?
Her name was also Rose. Rosie Cotton.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good pull, Samwise.
That came full circle. But yeah, that's one of the worst things about like the nerd fan community for me is shipping. Relationshipping. Like, oh, these two characters are totally in love. No, they're not. Shut the hell up.
No, they're not.
It's John Wick. John Wick wasn't in love with his dog. It was his damn dog. He went and killed all those people because it was a dog.
He killed those. He was insane. There's something wrong in his head. That doesn't mean he was in love with his dog. That's a fair point.
Ugh. Yeah, I can't say that. The toxicity in these fandoms is terrible.
Oh, sure. I'm going to say something controversial if I may can. As much as I love Star Wars, as much as I like Star Wars, let's just say that, I'm kind of ready for it to be over.
Oh, well,
I want the narrative to come to a conclusion.
It's never going to be over.
Oh, you there?
It's never going to be over now.
I want to know what happens so there can be closure after 30 years. So we can go into the next great new Star Wars, sci-fi epic. That's what I want.
I would have even been okay with more Star Wars, but if you were, this got away from defending Kelly Marie Tran, who totally deserves to be defended. Sorry, Kelly. Sure. I hope everything gets better. Sorry about the toxic nerds. But yeah, getting back to important things like Star Wars, I would have been more okay with them doing this new trilogy if they'd have just been like, you know what, it's not 30 years in the future with old Han Solo and old Luke Skywalker and old Leia. It's 80 years in the future with dead Han Solo and dead Luke Skywalker and dead Leia. Yeah. And everybody knows about them, and we acknowledge them in some way. They were important to the building of the story, but they're gone because we want to tell a self-contained story about these other folks. That would have been better for me.
I think
it could have been another completely self-contained trilogy. And it would have served these characters a lot better, I think, rather than having to be tied down with like, oh, we got to give Han his goodbye movie, and now we got to give Luke his goodbye movie. They wouldn't have been shackled by that. Maybe they could have
That's a really
built
good
some more compelling narrative. Anyway, last story we got tonight. Oh, and it's not a good one. What the hell's the matter with me? When I write the notes, I always put like the most bummer story last. I used to work I don't talk about the company where I work now that much because I still work there, and I'm not authorized to speak on their behalf. And it's generally not good as a public figure to talk about your company without running it by them first. And that's totally fine. That's understandable. That's fine. But I can talk about the company where I used to work. The company where I used to work was called SunCoke. It was a division of Sunoco, the gasoline refinery that's the official fuel of NASCAR. Very big company. Well, anyway, me and 3 of my buddies from my current job, we also all worked together back at that job. So like we all came over to the new job together all at once in one class. And we worked at this old job together, and one of our crewmates was a dude that we called Bear. His real name was Mike Roberts, but his nickname was Bear. I do not remember why. I think he showed up to work with that nickname, and everybody's like, well, we got another dude that we call Peanut, and then another dude we call Possum. Those are not jokes. Those are real people. So why not call you Bear? Fine. So he's Bear. Well, anyway, Bear seemed like a perfectly normal dude. He liked to hang out, talk, have a couple beers after work, whatever. Well, Bear this Friday murdered his 6-year-old. So, yeah.
Wait, when was this?
This last Friday.
Oh, man.
So Bear, for the last 2 years, he's got 5 kids now because he freaking killed one. He used to have 6 kids. He had 6 kids, and they were 6, 7, 9, 12, 13, and 14. So when I knew him 8 years ago, he only had the 3. Now he's got 3 more. The 2 youngest, I guess he was having a disciplinary issue with them over probably something stupid, and his punishment to them was he starved them. It's like if you send your kid to bed without dinner, you send your kid to bed without dinner one night, you probably feel kind of bad about it, but you're like, well, maybe this will teach him. And then the next day you feed him a big breakfast. That's if you're going to use that as a punishment, that's how you do it. Well, I guess Bear sent this kid to bed with no dinner and then didn't feed him anything but like bread and water for a year or so. And then the kid died. A 6-year-old kid weighing 17 pounds died, and he took the body to the hospital on Friday. Now, I don't know what the hell he told the people at the hospital. He's like, hey, can you fix this? Can you fix my dead kid that I just murdered? But that's how he got caught. So him and his wife were each looking at 1 charge each of first-degree murder and 2 charges each of criminal neglect of a child. Their bond is set at $500,000, and I know he doesn't have $500,000 because I used to work with him. And I hope he goes to prison forever. So when we were talking earlier about prison sentencing reform, this is one that I don't want reformed. If you starve one of your children to death, you need to go to jail forever. Forever. Yes. So Mike Roberts can go directly to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, Mike. If you want to see a picture of him, there's no pictures of the kid, so don't worry about that. Nobody wants to see pictures of a dead, starved child. There are no pictures of him. They respect the kid. The kid's name was Liam, so rest in peace, little Liam Roberts. I'm really sorry that your dad treated you that way. I did not know that your dad was an inhuman monster, or I would have said something years ago before you were even born. But if you want to see it, just Google Mike Roberts kills children, or go to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch website and search for Mike Roberts. He lived in a town called Alton, Illinois, and he's a disgusting murderer. Killed his kids. And the picture they have of him now, it's side-by-side mugshots of him and his wife is crying and sobbing, and his eyes are just, he's got those psychopath eyes. He's got that 1,000-yard stare. I had never seen, I knew him for a year. He didn't look like that when I knew him. He was just laughing and joking around with the rest of us. If he was starving his kids to death then, there wasn't any way we could tell, because he didn't look like this freaking weirdo. So I learned this just today, and it scared the crap out of me. So I guess the moral of the story is, folks, look out for your neighbors, and if you notice that 2 of your neighbors' children go missing or turn into tiny little skeleton children, say something. I guess, report it. It's terrifying. This is a horrible thing. Evil exists. We've said it every week on the show for the last several weeks. Evil is a real thing. Not all people that do crimes are just misguided or whatever. This Mike Roberts dude, he is evil to do that to a child. Yeah. This kid's body weighed 17 pounds. We couldn't believe it at work today, so we looked up the charts, and at 6 years old, you're supposed to weigh like 70 pounds or something like that. This kid weighed 17 pounds, and that's the same weight as a healthy 6-month-old. So he was 6 years old. He weighed what he should have weighed when he was 6 months old. So,
man, that's sick.
Good Lord. And apologize for putting that story last and leaving you on a bad note, folks. But, man, oh, man, I couldn't not talk about that story since it was a guy that I knew personally. Just wild. We were in shock, me and my buddies that had all worked with him when we saw that today.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. But this last week there were a whole lot of, quick subject change with no segue. There were a whole lot of state primaries and federal primaries for like Congress people. There are a whole lot more coming up. So if you have not registered to vote yet, please register to vote. You can go to jokesforvotes.com or rockthevote.com or any other number of websites that will show you where you can go to register to vote. It is not too late to register to vote in a lot of your state primaries, and it's definitely not too late to register to vote in your state and federal elections. We are well before the guideline, but do not wait. Go and do it as soon as you can. Don't let paperwork snafu stop you from voting. This is a very, very important election. We're at a turning point in this country, and if you like Trump and Trump policies and you want them to continue, he needs your vote. If you hate Trump and hate Trump policies, which based on the demographics of this show, there is every chance that you do, the Democrats need your vote. So whoever you're going to vote for, register and go vote, please.
And if you want to hear nonstop people going, well, you just wasted your vote. Why did you vote? Vote Libertarian.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Write in Gary Johnson, for the love of Pete. He said he's not going to run for president again. We'll see. He's definitely not running for anything here in the midterm. But there are plenty of lovely libertarians and Green Party people, and there's even some total nut bars in the really fringe parties beyond those two. Just vote for somebody. Vote for yourself. Vote for me. Write to me and tell me that you voted for me if you do. Just as long as it gets you to go and write something on the rest of the ballot, participate in all the local initiatives and bond issues and important stuff on your ballot. If getting your joke in to vote Ken Bone for Congress, that's what it takes, do it. I'm not going to discourage you from doing it. Just take as many of the votes as you can seriously. And with that, I guess I've talked about the news as much as I can. My blood pressure is out the roof between my yelling episode and my former coworker being a child murderer. So we're going to let you go. We really appreciate you listening to the show. We're going to be back next week as soon as I can figure out how to upload the show in a timely manner and a consistent day every week. Thanks a lot for listening. For my good friend Josh Burkett up in the great, not as frozen as it used to be north, I am Ken Bone, and I approve this sweater.